At the ripe old age of 20-something, I can say I've been using the internet for what seems like an eternity. Way back then, let's say the late 2000s, the internet, to me at least, was a big place full of all different kinds of stuff. Every day, it felt like I was going to go on an adventure to discover or do something new. I'd discover a whole lot of websites each day. Some good ones, and some I shouldn't mention here. For this video though, one of the websites I discovered is a site that is still popular to this day. The place and game where them oof memes and the kids peeking their mics came from. This old game is called It's scary saying this, but I discovered Roblox about 14 years ago. I was a 9-year-old doing the usual internet browsing. I was really interested in games like Habbo Hotel or Nicktropolis. Essentially, games where there was a social aspect as well as inclusion of minigames and possibly having an avatar to customize. Not really certain on the specifics on how I found it. Possibly an old YouTube video or just searching for a free game online. But when I did find it, and I remember being immediately hooked on it. I do remember the first game I played on it being this Left 4 Dead Versus-esque or remake game. It was a survivors versus zombies where the players would try to survive and run through this map, or they'd turn into a zombie and they died and try to take out the rest. When I say hooked, I don't mean it lightly. I remember it being the start of the night when I joined my first game to quitting about 6 in the morning when I was sent to bed. It was the first time I remember staying up all night for a video game, or the first time I'd ever watched the sunrise. That game was a big part of my life after that night. It had everything a little 9-year-old me liked. The fun avatar customization, people to talk to when I was bored, and a whole endless supply of games to try out. Just some games I can also remember from the top of my head were this pizza place shop, this building a raft and then going down a river, trying not to crash, and the countless obstacle courses in the tycoons. I believe that pizza place world is still up and popular to this day, somehow. Oh my goodness. Unless hours trying to make this fun world to play. I had lots of ideas for games back then, but I had no clue how to program or even implement the ideas. All of the games I did make were unfinished and buggy messes from what I can remember. Talking about this game kind of makes me feel like an old man on his deathbed, reminiscing about the good old days, but it really is just a childhood game I grew up with. On a side note though, while it is a game I have lots of fun memories of, I did learn some bad habits and behaviors from it. One example was, I was one of those kids that stole their mom's credit cards without permission. So I don't know how to do these transitions yet, but I decided to take a deep dive into the game today just to see what it was like. Maybe let's see if the games of the day would remind me of way back then. So I played for about an hour or so, just trying the popular games and just seeing what was different. Of course, there's so much that looks different from what I can remember. The first thing that stood out to me was how formal it looks now. Not to insult the team behind the UI or anything, but it looks soulless to me. It could be just a lack of any other color but gray and black, or maybe how the logo got that simplified trend look like most other brands got. Taking a look at these screenshots from the past, while dated, the color scheme in the logo looked more comforting and inviting compared to how it looks now. Yet, what do I know? I don't have a degree that designs UI. It could very well be my nostalgia glasses fogging the view. Other than the UI, I noticed the tickets were missing and there's only Robux now. or that Builders Club was removed and replaced with this premium. So I'm gonna assume that having the two different types of currency was too confusing, and from what I can remember, the tickets weren't really used for much other than the JPEG t-shirts and other non-official merchandise. As for the premium, from what I saw on the website, it's just a modern take of Builders Club. Although it's a little vague on what perks you get, but that was just me. From the gameplay side of things, it still felt a bit like the Roblox I knew. Of course, it's got that new paint on it in terms of visuals, the updated performance, and the new animations for your character. The games, from what I played from the popular section, gave me this feeling that the old original game is still somewhat there. The genres of games were somewhat identical. The only thing that felt new was the loads of horror games that were there now. I was also surprised at how crazy some of the games looked as well. One of the games I played on there looked like an older Call of Duty title. And then, other than that, I saw this video some time back of a VR game that looked like it shouldn't have even worked on Roblox, but there it was. I loaded up some of my old accounts and their worlds. A lot of them were just broken messes, as I expected. Most likely from the fact that I had no idea on how to make a functioning and fun game when I was younger, combined with, from what I believed, were assets or parts of the world that just no longer existed on the platform. For example, some of the worlds were loaded with no floors, and many of the old scripts just didn't get along with the updated game or the models now. But eventually, I got that nostalgia hit when I loaded my first pre-built world from my first account. I remember it being ugly and boring to me when I originally played, but today it's a piece of history to me, even if it doesn't work. It's been ages, huh? Guys are still running Windows XP on these pictures. Oh! I didn't know I could still build on this. I've grown up a lot since the last time I played Roblox regularly. But in a way, so did Roblox. The game looks so much different and mature now, but yet it still plays somewhat the same and has many of its original features that I knew. It's honestly crazy to see that Roblox still has a large and growing player base, when many other games of my childhood have long since died and faded out of popularity or replayability. So, Roblox may have just adapted better. I can't leave this out, but I've seen some other videos floating around on YouTube. I saw a video by People Make Games discussing how Roblox as a company gives its game developers and designers unfair treatment. It's a whole can of different kind of worms from what I viewed on these videos. Thinking back on it now, there were most likely always safety issues involving children or sketchy markets. Unfortunately, this is the way with anything on the internet. But this should not be an excuse, as it should always be ahead of its potential issues, especially towards the minors. As for the Robux and the payment to its creators, that's something I hope they improve on. As for the games I've played on there, they really do put the work onto this platform. They do deserve that proper compensation and security. Anyway, if Roblox is still alive in the future, I wonder now if kids are going to be ending up making videos similar to this 10, 15 years in the future. You know, if YouTube is still a thing too. Howdy. Thank you for listening to me ramble on about this ancient game. I made this video because I wanted to learn something new and practice video writing and editing. You still being here gives me hope that I'm doing something right. I have no clue how to end a video though. So here's a random picture. And I also stream sometimes on Twitch if you're interested in losing some brain cells.
You want this fancy sword? I already have a fancy sword.
No.
Okay.
There's a creeper behind you, by the way.
I get. Oh shit!
Anyway, have a good one.